Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for the 2nd of June 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon we bring you the 5 news items that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.8% today to 7,176 points, having tumbled 1% earlier in the day before clawing back some ground. The energy sector did well thanks to Woodside, more of that shortly. The tech sector was sold off, as were healthcare stocks, telcos and financials. Only 3 of the top 25 stocks gained ground today: Woodside, Santos and South32. The banks all went backwards, with Macquarie Group off 2.7% and Commonwealth Bank and ANZ both finishing more than 1% lower. The miners were mixed, while Woolworths, CSL, Rio Tinto and Goodman Group all dropped by at least 1.5%, while Telstra and Transurban both ended more than 1% lower. Healthcare stocks were sold off, as I mentioned, with some of the smaller players being hit particularly hard. That included PolyNovo, Telix Pharmaceuticals and Nanosonics. Story number 2, a quick update on the lithium stocks. Yesterday they were sold off hard, really hard, with some dropping more than 20%. Today was much better, though mixed at best. Some, like IGO, gained ground. Others, such as Alkem, continued to slide. Incoming chief executive of lithium major Pilbara Minerals, Dale Henderson, said it was a bold move to call the peak for battery metals, given ongoing strong demand for electric vehicles and, of course, the time it takes to bring on new supply. He was responding to a couple of investment broker notes suggesting lithium stocks had peaked. It'll be interesting to see what happens in that market, but I think Mr. Henderson has a point. Story number 3, the new Woodside Energy hit the bourse today. It was a pretty strong first day performance, up 5%. In fact, it was about as good as anyone else on the bourse. Woodside Energy is the old Woodside Petroleum plus the BHP Petroleum assets. It has a market capitalisation of $57 billion, making it the 9th largest company on the ASX behind Fortescue, but ahead of Wesfarmers and Telstra. Its annual production will almost be double the old Woodside. There was some fallout for BHP though. Ratings group S&P cut BHP's rating from A to A-, saying it had slightly less robust financial profile than its peers Rio Tinto and Glencore. Story number 4, Australia's trade balance increased by more than $750 million in April to a surplus of $10.5 billion. Exports jumped sharply, in part due to a rise in LNG sales, while exports and imports of travellers, that's people coming into our country and leaving it, also rose. Rural exports were also higher. Imports were off somewhat due to a drop in car purchases and manufacturing imports. And finally, story number 5. China has given New Zealand a clip across the year, euphemistically, reminding Wellington of the country's reliance on China as a trading partner. It came after Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern met with US President Joe Biden yesterday. China said New Zealand has a clean, green brand, and that shouldn't be taken for granted. China's ambassador to New Zealand said the country was open and friendly, and the positive national branding was a valuable asset. Then he added, it shouldn't be squandered. New Zealand has recently expressed concern over China's economic and diplomatic approaches to a number of Pacific Island nations. Ms. Ardern has cautioned against militarisation in the region and questioned China's intentions. Now, all this really matters to New Zealand because 30% of all New Zealand exports go to China. That's it for the afternoon report for Thursday, the 2nd of June, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Friday Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.